Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article that I was just found yesterday perusing through Twitter. It's from July 7th from The Spectator, but like I said, I just found it, so hence the long time between the date of the article and this video right here. So I saw the headline that says Afghan leaders say their country is a terror haven and thought, well, thanks for something else, Joe Biden. You're doing such a great job. And the subheading here says, just because Biden left Afghanistan does not mean the terrorists decided to end their war on the West. So the article says the Biden administration is using every tool at its disposal to paint a rosy picture of Afghanistan as a terrorist-free state as the 2-year anniversary of its disastrous withdrawal approaches, but a coalition of Afghan generals, diplomats, and civil servants is writing to Congress to explain that in reality, today's Afghanistan under the Taliban and their Al-Qaeda allies is again the greatest terror safe haven in the world. Thank you once again, Joe Biden, for your just complete stupidity when it comes to everything. This is following a widely panned pre-4th of July news dump in which the administration admitted no fault for its botched withdrawal from Afghanistan because they're just asshats. The Afghan leaders are specifically faulting Biden for falsely insisting that he was right, that Al-Qaeda would not be in Afghanistan, in remarks that the Taliban praised as an acknowledgement of reality. It says, we categorically rebuke President Biden's baseless and irresponsible characterization of the relationship between the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. The Afghan leaders wrote in a letter that is circulating around Hill offices of both parties and which the Spectator obtained. Contradicting Biden, a United Nations report concluded that terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS-K, which is responsible for the bombing that killed 13 American service members, have greater freedom of maneuver under the Taliban, because of course they do. I think everybody knew that. We were trying to get out of there so hastily, and yeah, okay. My brain is going in a million directions, but mostly it's just FJB. So this is a letter spearheaded by General Sami Sadat, a Special Forces commander of the Afghan National Army Special Operations Command, that's a mouthful, praises Idaho Senator Jim Risch for introducing targeted sanctions against the Taliban. They request that Congress pass Risch's bill without action. They warn Afghanistan will slide down the very same path that it found itself in prior to 9/11. So that's fantastic. It says Sadat, a former three-star general who remains on the Taliban's top 3 kill list, and his compatriots emphasized 3 specific problems plaguing their homeland. The trend of freedom and prosperity in Afghanistan has been replaced with violence and despair, and the fall of Afghanistan into the hands of the Taliban and their terrorist associates has precipitated 3 primary disasters, which are a return of transnational terrorism, gross human rights abuses, and exploitation and looting of natural resources of Afghanistan. In order to defend its positions, the administration also points to its successful drone strike of Al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahiri in Afghanistan as evidence that it eliminated the terrorist group. However, the signatories argue that Zawahiri's ultimate demise by a United States drone strike 800 feet away from the former U.S. Embassy is evidence to the sanctuary provided to Al-Qaeda and their unbreakable bond with the Taliban. So wait, the Biden administration is just saying that, because we killed their leader, then, hey, they're over. Do you guys not understand how, just not just terrorist groups, but just any sort of gang works? Just because you kill the leader doesn't mean everything's gone and just, they went away now, they're gone forever. Just means somebody else takes their spot and the group continues. Who the hell whoever said this should be fired and pointed and laughed at and tarred and feathered every day just for being a dumbass. So the article continues, says the State Department's controversial after-action Afghanistan report was heavily redacted. There's probably black lines throughout the entire thing. It says prompting concern from Republicans who work on foreign policy. Last week's heavily redacted State Department report only further enforced the complete disaster that President Biden's hasty Afghanistan withdrawal proved to be, Kentucky Representative Andy Barr told The Spectator. Close observers see 2 goals of the Biden administration: saving face for the humiliation it faced following the withdrawal and paving the way for recognition of the Taliban government down the road. They should be humiliated for it. They should feel that every time. We know they don't, because they also got 13 of our service members killed unnecessarily. And then there's also the somewhat related thing of the one servicewoman who the Biden administration won't pay to bring her coffin home and have her buried in Arlington, which cost her family, or actually it was a nonprofit stepped in and paid for it, but it would have cost her family $60,000 to do that. So yeah, let's keep sending billions over to Ukraine, but we don't have $60K to send to this Marine's family. Okay, eat me. FJB, I'll say that again. Says Florida Representative Mike Waltz, the first Green Beret in Congress, is particularly concerned about any form of normalizing the Taliban. I think anybody would be concerned about that. Says it's insane and dangerous that the Biden administration is creeping towards normalizing the Taliban, the decorated combat vet told me, as author of the article, not me, Jason. Having fought these ruthless killers, I can tell you there is little difference between the murderous ideologies of the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. In fact, senior Taliban security officials are the primary enablers of Al-Qaeda. Says the letter, however, is likely to receive a frosty reception from Biden's allies, of course, because Jesus H. You know why. This is one senior Republican staffer who worked closely on Afghanistan policy said that Democrats need to keep Afghanistan on the back burner. There's no way to spin the way Biden marched 13 soldiers to their deaths, thank you, article, for mentioning that, in Kabul, or abandoned hundreds of American citizens, thank you for mentioning that too, after promising that he wouldn't. That's why Democrats long ago turned the page on Afghanistan and turned their backs on the families of the fallen. On the other hand, Republicans are quick to lambast Biden, says New York Representative Mike Lawler, a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, also lamented how much devastation the Biden administration's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan left in its wake. It was devastating to Americans and our Afghan allies alike to see that all we had sacrificed so much for swept away so quickly. Now, those who partnered with us face new horrors as the Taliban marks them public enemy number one. So as the 2-year anniversary of America's withdrawal from Afghanistan approaches, Republicans want to make things as painful as possible for the White House. Just because Biden left Afghanistan does not mean the terrorists decided to end their war in the West, Walt said. Of course, and anybody with a retarded amoeba for a brain cell could have told you that that was going to happen. But, like, of course, they all have to run interference for Biden at every chance they get and not deal in the truth. So that's, of course, what they're going to do. And I hope Republicans, I hope everybody brings it up as the 2-year anniversary approaches and just bashes him over the head with it. And I hope when the presidential campaign stuff is happening next year, whoever the Republican nominee is also brings this up at the point and says this is what he did. I mean, that's something that's going to really hurt him. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. What do you think about, once again, Joe Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, but of course the obvious consequence of the withdrawal being, you know, Afghanistan is a terror haven again. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.